special BB Can 7 Final 3 phone interview show, where we're going to take all of your questions that you guys submitted to us over on Twitter at Reality Recaps. So I hope you guys were following us over there. And we are going to be asking them to your final 3 right now. Of course, we are going to have each house guest on, probably starting in the beginning of next week. We'll have each house guest on 1 per night for at least an hour, where you guys will be able to ask all of your questions to them. So make sure that if you missed any of our previous phone interviews, or if you missed those, or if you want to see any of our BB Can content, you can check it all out over on yourrealityrecaps.com/bbcan. But we have your third placer on the line right now, so let's go get over to Kyra and see what they're thinking. Hey Kyra, how you doing?
Hey Eric, I'm doing pretty good considering all things.
All right, well, we have some questions here from you from your fans for this season. I'm going to fire them away at you.
Oh, okay.
First question is, who would you have taken to the final 2? I'm sure you've been asked this a lot.
Yeah, out of Dane and Anthony?
Yes.
I would have taken Anthony, not because of loyalty, but because I believed that there was a stronger chance I could beat him.
Okay, so is that why you ended up voting for Dane then? Because at the end of the day, you did understand his position, kind of?
Oh, yeah. Like, for me, I was bitter just because 5 minutes before the comp, he told me, don't worry, Kiersey, you're going to win 20 grand at least today, blah, blah. So, like, why would he lie right before? But all in all, I thought Dane played a much better game. Very deserving winner. And yeah. I promised myself that I wouldn't be a bitter juror and vote, you know.
That's great. We do love hearing that. And we know that you are a fan of Big Brother. Who is your all-time favorite BBUS and BB Can player?
I think Netta is one of my favorite players, to be honest.
Okay.
She played a very good mastermindy game, and I admire it a lot. Very strong player.
Okay. Do you any regrets on the blood veto? Do you wish that you had used it differently looking back now? I know that's easy to say now that it's over, but if we had a crystal ball.
Honestly, no. I think I saw that Mark was like the weakest link of the Pretty Boys, and it was kind of clear just with how they were behaving with him on the block that like he was kind of disposable, and it also seemed like Mark was closer to them just because of power rather than loyalty, and they had power for a lot of the game, right? And so it made sense of why Mark would stick to them. But I really did believe that if they stopped having power, we could easily turn Mark against them, because Mark knows he couldn't beat them either. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I saw it more beneficial to take out a strong and loyal number around Dane, because I saw Dane as the crack that I needed to get out, because I felt close to Anthony, and I knew Sam felt close with Adam, and therefore I felt good with Adam. So for me, it was honestly the best decision was to take out Kiki, and also why would I go against the whole entire house just to get Mark out? Like if it was Dane on the block, hell yeah, I'd go against the house and use it, but it just wasn't enough of a payoff to use it.
I completely, I got your back on that one. I totally agree. I totally agree with you on that one. Can you help people understand your thought process a little bit? Because I think basically we saw 1 week Anthony is confronting you, calling your game out to the whole entire house. A lot of people could feel that it was a thing that changed the game a lot for you, but then you didn't nominate him or go after him when you then became in power right after that. So what was your thought process for still keeping him safe when it was very obvious he was coming after you?
Yeah. I think I don't know. I really felt like he realized that people got in my head, and maybe I was being manipulated, probably was. But I honestly didn't see Anthony as like a huge threat. I knew he was being manipulative, but I also knew I could likely beat him in comps in the end. And I wasn't as like threatened by Anthony as I was by like Dane and Adam or even Mark, who was amazing mentally, right? And so honestly, at the end of the day, like I bought into Anthony's BS when he made it seem like he just did that to test the boys, whatever. And I guess I part of me wanted to believe that he had my back because I felt really alone at that time in the game. And yeah, I just didn't. Now looking back, like I wish I put him up instead of Mark and then gotten him out. But I knew I didn't. Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say, are you saying Anthony said that he did that kind of public calling you out to test the boys?
Yeah, he said that later on to me, and he realized like when they didn't step in, at a point that he called out certain things, that he realized that they were the one that planted seeds in my head, and that they were scared that like he was going to bring up other things. You know what I mean?
Right.
And sometimes Anthony's stories didn't fully make sense, but I think there was a part of me that wanted to believe him because I did feel so close to him personally. But I knew like deep down he was manipulating me. I guess I was just hoping that he really would have my back.
Right. Was there anything specific that made you feel Adam wouldn't be loyal to you? I think that was the second part, or the last thing that just kind of confused people. Like, a lot of us were rooting for you and Adam to kind of go now all the way. Was it just that he would not have been as easy to beat in the end, or was there any other stuff that made you feel like he might not be loyal to you?
Well, did you guys see the fight after I nominated?
Yes.
Was that shown?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in that fight, Adam spoke about the pretty boys in a way that was like almost like cultish. Like he was so proud of what he created there. And honestly, at first when I nominated Adam, it wasn't me going against him. It was really just me trying to ensure that he wouldn't take Dane off the block. Because I knew Adam had a strong chance of winning the veto, and I just didn't want him to take Dane off. So it really wasn't me going against him. But when he exploded at me and exposed really how proud he was of these pretty boys and how loyal he is to them, I realized this guy is not going to take me further because he feels like this is his baby. Like, he started this day one. He's going to bring these guys to the very end because he knows they'll likely beat all of them, you know?
Right.
So that made it very clear, very, very clear, that I could not get Adam to go against the boys, and that's when I knew I needed Adam to leave. And the more I thought about it, the more I knew Mark, Anthony, and I couldn't get Adam out on our own. We were not as strong in competitions. I needed Dane to stay to go after him.
Right. Now, on the feeds, we heard a lot, leading up to the end, that you were saying you knew what your final two speech was going to be. You've had it ready for a really long time. A lot of us were wondering, what would that final two speech have been?
You want it? You ready?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. What's more impressive, the man that climbed Mount Everest with a full crew watching his back and all the top of the end gear and equipment, or the person that climbed that mountain blindfolded with only their bare hands in the midst of a storm? Because this whole game, I was in the dark of a very strong alliance. I was not winning competitions left, right, and center, and I didn't have the power to strike back, but I knew when to play weak, and I knew to get close to the powerful competitor and the influential competitor and let them think that I could be controlled by them. I needed time to stay in this house to crack the foundation that was running this game and to have the opportunity to strike back when necessary.
I love it. That was good. Now I'm wondering which one of them would have been the mountain goat. No. Look.
Park.
I'm going to go another direction because we have two more questions for you, but this one is very serious, Kyra, because we are about seriousness around here with our recaps. And we want to know, why Would you keep eating that cookie when you thought Dane's teeth were in them, Kyra?
Let me tell you a secret.
Uh-huh.
1 hour later.
1 sec. No? Okay. I was hungry.
You were hungry. Okay, there you go.
I was hungry.
You were hungry. Fine. There you go. You were hungry. Okay. Final question. Is there something that you learned about yourself coming out of this game that you didn't know about yourself before you started playing it?
100%. I learned that I am more resilient than I ever could have imagined, and that I am a fighter. I think, everyone goes through times in their life where they feel like they don't believe in themselves, and, like they're not enough, and they're just, we've all had that. And in this game, going against such strong guys, I never gave up. And, even in comps where I knew I was going to lose, I kept pushing just to do the very best that I could do. It wasn't about doing the best out of everyone, but it was about always doing the best that I could do. And I really showed myself how resilient I am and how much of a fighter I am. And that's something I will take away forever now.
Well, we here at Your Reality Recaps are part of the LGBTQ community, and we just want you to know that you were a big inspiration to a lot of people all season, and we hope that you will continue sharing your story with the world and influencing and changing minds, because it is very inspirational, Kyra.
Thank you so much. It's honestly been a privilege and an honor to use my voice, and it's definitely not the end, and I do plan to continue to be an advocate, and it's a dream come true for me to actually have the chance to do this.
Well, we cannot wait to hear more from you once this season is over and they let you back out into the wild.
Yeah, I can't either.
Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that was great hearing from Kyra. You'll be able to hear more from her soon. Like I said, we are going to be having the house guests on starting in the beginning of next week. We'll have one house guest on every single night of the week for at least an hour, taking your questions live over on You Now. So make sure that you guys become a fan over there, yourrealityrecaps.com/YouNow. It is completely free. You will get alerted when we go live. You have access to the chat room where you'll be able to ask questions to each of the house guests, and it's where you can see all of the shows that we cover live. Of course, we're covering Amazing Race right now, The Challenge, RuPaul's Drag Race, so there's a ton of content. We are live every single night of the week at 7 p.m. on You Now, and then the shows that we do over there carry over to the website, so make sure you guys become a fan over there. But if you end up watching these back on YouTube, make sure you do us a favor, thumbs up and subscribe, click that bell, leave a comment below. It really helps support our shows, as does leaving a 5-star rating and a nice review over on iTunes. But look, we know what you guys want to hear from. It is your runner-up, Anthony. Hey, Anthony, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm blessed, man. I can't believe I'm actually out of this house, but here I am, and I'm so thankful.
Awesome. So I have some questions for you from your fans. I'm just going to kind of go ahead and fire them at you.
Okay. All right.
All right. So first up, people wanted to know, would you really have taken Dane to Final 2 had the choice been yours?
So, me and Dane had conversations throughout the season that Dane was my Final 2. We were Final 2 together, and we were riding. And I know that you guys saw the disloyalties that Dane was showing towards me, and that definitely hurt me. I had conversations with Dane. I had conversations with other people about going further, but ultimately I 1,000% would have taken Dane to Final 2. In order to be the best, you have to beat the best. And, if I was going to be the best, I want to go down, in a very respectful way. I'm not like the other Big Brother players that just want to bring somebody weak to the end. I wanted to change the game. Dane wanted to change the game. Adam wanted to change the game, and that's exactly what we did.
Okay. Next question. Are you surprised by the voting outcome and or more specifically that you didn't get Corey's vote?
So you have to remember what this game is like. Like, inside of the house is its own game. The jury house is a totally separate game. If you think about who went into the jury house first and who went in after, these are just two different perspectives of what was going on in the house. Ultimately, who was sent into the jury house were people who, had no idea what was going on in the game. That's why you were, in quotes, blindsided, or, you didn't see it coming, or, all that. It's because you didn't know what was going on. You weren't in power. You weren't in the conversations with the people who were in power. So, people definitely set the tone inside the jury house, came to their own conclusions of what was going on, and that's what they based their votes off of. I respect their votes. Dane played a better game, with the jury members, and toots to the guy who finished number one. Well earned.
Okay. Do you? I know looking back, of course, one thing could change everything. But any regrets in voting out Adam now? Do you think that if, you had kept him over Kyra, that things might have went differently in the end?
So me and Adam had multiple conversations throughout the season. Once these guys started turning to me for every single final decision, what are we going to do with this? What are we going to do? Oh, we'll just leave it up to Anthony. Anthony will figure something out. I was the GM, the coach, the leading rebounder, assists, blocks, every single category except scoring. I was the leader of the Pretty Boys, and I fought hard for all of those guys. But after the conversations I had with Adam, with his final two with Dane, about him thinking that there's no chance he could beat me in the final, I knew that if I went to final three, I had no way of winning. Adam is almost unbeatable in this game, and even if Dane was in the game against me or Adam, I want to say Dane would take me, but he would probably have a better chance of winning $100,000 against Adam. But all of us didn't have an idea of what was going on inside the jury house.
Right. Were you shocked to learn that Adam was the secret assassin?
Absolutely not. As soon as they told us about the secret assassin, I looked at Adam's face. He is a horrible actor. I could see the guilt in his eyes, and I knew it was him. When Corey left, I told Corey that I would definitely get revenge for her, and I did absolutely that.
Okay. Was it surprising for you to learn that Damien was most popular with Canada?
No, Damien is a stand-up guy. He's one of the realest people in the house. I'm so honored to have gotten a chance to meet Damien. He is literally one of the nicest guys I've ever met, and he has substance to him. He's been through things. He's seen things. Everything you hear from Damien is truthful. He's the type of guy you could sit down and he could talk for 4 or 5 hours and you're just sitting there learning and enjoying every minute of it. I love Damien, and he definitely should be one of Canada's favorites. He's a stand-up guy, and that's my brother. All
right. How did you decide what to say in your final two speech? I think some people feel that maybe you didn't spend enough time laying out your game for the jury.
Right. Well, we were only told 45 seconds.
Right.
I tried my hardest to basically, have an analogy that people would understand. There were a lot of small fish in this house that were just going with the flow. I never promised anybody in this game security. I only did with the people I was aligned with. Dane had told every single person in that house since day one that they were safe with him. And as he eliminated them, he was still telling every single person in the house that they were aligned with him. I never did that once. I spoke in code, I spoke very, very vague, and I never said anything incriminating. And that is the reason why I got as far as I did, because nobody knew that where my head was at, nobody knew where my alliance was, and definitely nobody knew that I had a final two with one of the boys, as they did Dane. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Speaking for a second about going back to Corey, actually, one of your questions was, did you know that having Corey target Sam would cause Adam to go after Corey? Was that part of your plan, or did you just think you could control Adam better in that scenario?
I definitely thought I could control Adam, but you have to understand, when Corey walked in the house, everyone wanted her gone. The entire house made a pact to the next vote, we all stay safe and take out Corey. Corey was one of the most loyal people I've ever met, and I could definitely tell I could work with them and work with her inside of the house. I knew after conversations with the boys that they were afraid of Corey, and once Corey started winning competitions, it put real fear into their hearts. The only way I could have made it work is if I joined the two together. That's why I made a final three with Mark and Corey. That's why I made a final three with Dane and Corey. I tried to make a final three with Adam, but he was just too sour and wasn't looking at the big picture of the game. He just wanted to vote out Corey and wear Sam's shirt so he looks like he was getting revenge for Sam. He was an extremely emotional player, wasn't thinking of the big picture, but Corey was down for the guys. Corey didn't fear Dane. Corey didn't fear Adam, Mark, or myself. She would have went to Final Five and fought like the rest of us. So that's why I tried to convince the guys to make Corey come, because she wouldn't have snaked anybody. She would have stuck to the plan and been loyal the same way she was to me the entire game.
Okay. Here's a kind of a fun one. If you had won an HOH, which past house guest would you have wanted to bring you a Wendy's?
Honestly, I've only seen one season, and it was a great season, but if I had to pick somebody who I would want there, I would say Ryan. Ryan was the outcast. Ryan was the brains behind all the operations. People talked down on him, and he still came through and finessed his way throughout the game. I very much respected his game, and he was one of my favorites, so I would have to go with Ryan.
I can tell you Ryan is going to probably love to hear that. All right, I'm gonna say last question for you, but we hope that we can hear more from you postseason. What is something that you learned about yourself coming out of this Big Brother experience that you might not have known about yourself before you started playing this game?
Being inside of the Big Brother house, all you really have is time. Sitting and having conversations with people, building relationships, eating, relaxing on the couch, going outside, working out. All you have is time with these people, and you build such strong relationships. Outside of the house, you tend to get caught up with the things that are happening in real life, work, the gym, things that are, more selfish, if I can say. But, now that I've seen what time can really do for relationships, I want to continue to build the strong relationships outside of the house. I work a job that, for the most part, I work very long hours, traveling to work, traveling from work, plus the gym. Sometimes, I don't have, the energy to go and see my mom, and, I don't have the energy to go spend time with my friends and stuff like that. But now, after realizing how valuable time is and how important it is to me, even being away from all my friends and family, I'm definitely going to apply that now that I'm outside of the house and spend more time with the people that I love and that have been supporting me my entire life.
Well, that is great to hear. And like I said, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us, Anthony. We hope to hear from you again soon.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, I am not sure that Anthony answered any of my questions, but we will hear, like I said, more from him starting next week when we have all the house guests on. Now, I know a lot of you have been asking in the comments below, how can we support? How do we keep supporting Reality Recaps? Well, if you guys have any Amazon shopping to do, you can start all of your shopping over at yourrealityrecaps.com/Amazon or click the ad in our sidebar. You don't pay any more, we get a little bit back. The best way to help support us is to become a patron. Patrons get access to the patron-only Facebook group, prize giveaways, weekly shows just for patrons, but most importantly, it's where the after shows will be with the BB Can House guests. So after we are live with all of them on You Now for an hour, then we're going to go into the patron group for an exclusive, like, one-on-one after show just with the house guest and the patrons. And of course, that is where all the tea comes out, because it is a private show. Of course, you could always do a one-time donation over at yourrealityrecaps.com/PayPal as well. Without your guys' financial support, we can't keep all of this going. Perhaps we would have been at finale this year if we had a little bit more support. So if you like these shows, if you like our live feed updaters doing 24/7 updates, our blogs, our live feed flashback times, Big Brother 21 is coming up. There is so much we would love to do for all of you, so consider supporting us either the free ways I mentioned before or financially in these ways. But someone who will have no problem supporting us financially, it is your winner. Let's get to the guy that you are probably most excited to hear from. Hey, Dane, congratulations, and how are you doing?
Thank you so much, Rick. I really appreciate it. Right now, it's hard to sink in, but yeah, it's a surreal moment. A dream came true, and like I said, it's hard to believe that I'm the winner of Big Brother Canada Season 7.
Amazing. All right, well, first, we have questions from your fans over on Twitter, so I want to go through a couple of those for you. First up is, when did you decide that Anthony would be taken to the final 2?
Good question. Me and Anthony on day 2, we kind of made a ride or die alliance outside the Pretty Boys, and I just knew by talking to him all day one, and then the morning of day 2, I just knew he was a loyal guy. We went through similar experiences throughout life, and we didn't let that define who we are. We turned into a better man, and I just found that he was a guy that I could trust, and when I had an option to take him to final 2, I was not going to go back on my word.
And was there any chance that had Esty remained in the game, you would have brought, say, her to final 2?
I mean, it depends who we were in the final 3 with. If it was Esty and anyone else, possibly. But, me and Esty, we have a special bond. We're really good friends. She was a good rock to have in the game. But if it was Esty and Anthony in the final, I think I still would have stuck to my word with Anthony. He did a lot for me in the game. And I just want to repay him with bringing him to final 2.
Okay. Were you shocked by winning unanimously?
Yeah, I was absolutely shocked, especially after the jury questions and feeling a lot of heat from them. I know I did a lot of them dirty, and I knew Anthony was very close with some of them. However, we're all fans of the game, and in my opinion, I played one of the best games this season, and it was nice to see that everyone kind of put their emotions away and just voted with their head, and they respected my game. And, I was still shocked to get 7-0 votes, but it was a really nice feeling.
All right, Dane, now we have a little, Twitter can sometimes be shady, so...
I guess I probably have some haters, yeah.
This isn't a hater question, but
Okay.
you can have fun with it. They want to know if you had to switch out one of the Pretty Boys for anybody else in the game, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's funny. I was just thinking that. There's actually two names in mind, but the first name that I was really trying to get, and that's the reason it was really hard for me to vote him out, was Mackie. Mackie was a comp beast. I thought he was a loyal guy as well. I don't know who I would trade him out with. I was trying to get him on board with the 4 of us. However, that week he said my name, he said Anthony's name, and he said Adam's name, so they wanted him out. And then another guy that I really wanted to bring along with is Damien. He's a solid guy. He's my hockey boy, and it really hurt to cut him loose on day 55 there. But, I would never trade anyone else for the Pretty Boys. Mark did his game, Adam and Anthony did their game, and I played my game. And somehow, some way, the Pretty Boys survived, and I think we created a legacy, and we'll be talked about for for the remainder of Big Brother.
Okay, now speaking of Damien, what did you think seeing that Damien had exclusive access kind of to watching you start to plan the Pretty Boys on day one?
Yeah, we were shocked because we're always talking about Canada's vote and who would get it, and no one ever guessed Damien. Like I said, Canada picked a good guy to be their soldier. But I think he's too new to the game to realize what he got. He saw me and Adam talk, and he saw me and Adam and Anthony talk, and I think he could have done a little bit more damage or got in with us right away. But I'm happy that he didn't see too much of the previous seasons because the Pretty Boys might have not done so well if he knew our secret.
Now, speaking of those secrets, which of them surprised you the most from the secrets that were revealed to you guys last night?
Well, Adam told me about the assassin, so I already knew that. That was a big shock. It was a good twist, but I think definitely Damien entering the house and watching all the conversations before he came into the house was one of the biggest twists that I've ever seen. He could have done a lot of damage. He could have broke up the Pretty Boys. He could have broke up a lot of people's games. When we went to the Leon's Lounge the first time we saw it on day 27, we knew that those paintings were definitely TVs and they were probably going to show something. We just didn't realize that they were showing something day one. But that was definitely one of the biggest shocks of the season.
Now, a lot of people were curious because, you had to campaign so hard to Anthony for his vote to get to stay in the game. Why didn't that factor into your consideration of voting Adam out?
I never doubted Anthony. I knew he would vote my way, but he was definitely hurt because he was very close with Corey, and he wanted to keep Corey during that week. And me and Adam kind of teamed up on him and took Corey out, and he was kind of hurt that I went against him. But like I said, I told him that Kobe needs Shaq, Shaq needs Kobe, and sometimes you never see eye to eye, but great teams always make it to the championship. So when he was kind of considering maybe taking me out, I just showed him my game board and said, beat Adam. Kyra's not going to beat Adam. I can beat Adam in a physical, and I can definitely beat Adam in a mental. You need me here just as much as I need your vote right now, and I really appreciate him giving my vote, and I kind of repaid him by taking him to final two.
Okay. A lot of people wanted to know, what is the first thing you're going to do when you get home, and what's the first thing you're going to buy?
I'm a fun guy, so right when I get home, I hope that the balls will be popping and we'll have a big party in Kelowna. I know I have a lot of friends and family that supported me throughout the season, so I'm a loyal guy and I want to repay the guys that treated me well before this experience. The first thing I'm gonna buy, I'm not too sure. I think I'm gonna take a couple of weeks off and go traveling. I got that Kontiki trip. But the first thing I'm gonna buy, I'm not sure. I'm probably gonna spoil my mom and grandma. They've been my rocks through, the last year. Went through a difficult time last year, and without their support, I wouldn't be here. So I want to spoil them and take them out on a nice night on the town.
All right. Well, now, speaking of that, you were so inspirational throughout the season, raising awareness for mental health issues. How do you plan to continue inspiring people that are living with them now postseason?
Right, yeah. Before the show even started, I started getting a little bit more involved with mental health. Before this show started, believe it or not, this smoker signed up for a marathon to raise awareness for mental health. And now being on this stage and being recognized, I'm going to try to run with it as much as I can for mental health. I want to do as much as possible for this disease. Like my saying is, it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay in that mind frame. And I want to take it as far as I can with. I don't want anyone to go what I had to deal with last year.
Thank you so much, Dane, for taking the time to talk with us. We hope to talk with you more postseason, and congratulations.
Absolutely, Eric. Thank you so much for the kind words, and we'll talk soon.
Bye-bye, Dane. Well, that about wraps up our phone interviews. Now, again, this is not the end of our Big Brother Canada content. Not the end. I tried to spread it out for you people on this one, so you didn't just skip over it on the beginning. We're having all the house guests on one at a time starting next week. We will be doing those shows live on YouNow, and that is free for everyone, and then we will be carrying them over into the patron group for the private after shows. Of course, if you guys want to support our shows, consider becoming a patron. Consider doing a one-time donation over at yourrealityrecaps.com/PayPal. Check out our Twitch, yourrealityrecaps.com/Twitch. Start your Amazon shopping with us. All great ways to support us, of course. A 5-star rating and a nice review on iTunes. Thumbs up and subscribe on YouTube. Hit the bell, comment below, sharing our content on social media. We can't express it to you guys enough. It is what keeps us going and bringing you content all year long. Of course, we're covering The Amazing Race right now, The Challenge. We just interviewed Paulie and Kyra Maria. We do Drag Race recaps on Mondays. We interviewed a ton of queens like Trixie Mattel, Raven, Juju, just so many drag queens. You can check those out over at TV Party. And just thank you. That's all I have to say. What the future holds for Reality Recaps heading into Big Brother 21, we shall see. But regardless, thank you all for being on this journey with us, not just during this BB Can 7 season, but the last 7 seasons that we have covered. We do these shows for all of you, so it really does mean so much to us at the end of the day that you guys love them. And just thank you. Thank you for supporting our shows, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye for now, everybody. Come to game night. Game nights are Saturday nights. They're fun. We play games. Feuds and trivias and sometimes Fortnites, and it's fun. We'll see you guys there, or for the rest of our BB Can 7 coverage starting next week. Bye for now. Look, I haven't slept, everyone. Dane called me Rick. I'm no sleep. I don't know. This is a crazy ending. You get a lot of this when you watch the shows live, but I'm gonna leave it in on the edited one because that's what we do. Bye for now, everybody. Bye.
Yeah, Rick, absolutely.